Howdy, folks. Thanks for tuning in. My name's JB Zielke, and this is the Dusty Vaquero Podcast. Punchy, poetic, pure. All right, we're back at this is our first podcast in the Broke Bastard basement here, aka Dusty Vaquero headquarters in Gillette, Wyoming. Haven't had podcasts come out for a minute because the festival happened and it was busy, and then I've been on the road, just got back from a pack trip, so getting back to doing the podcasts, getting them recorded. Brennan Greene stopped by. He's got shows all over up north here this summer, and so we decided to do this podcast. Thanks for doing the podcast.
Yeah, thanks for having me on the podcast.
Yeah, Brennan was one of the early on guys that I shot video with for Dusty Vaquero, and he did the intro music to my audiobook. He is the guy that appears at the beginning of every single Dusty Vaquero video, getting on a Colt and his round pin. And he also did all the intro music for this podcast. All original compositions by Brennan. Where do that sort of composition mindset come from? Because you're better at it than most people. You don't just like strum cowboy chords. You really like get deep in the music.
I don't know. I just spend a lot of time sitting with my guitar at night. Yeah, I was telling Jake, it's been about, I don't know, maybe a month, maybe 4 or 5 weeks that I haven't gone to sleep before the sun's come up. Didn't last night either, by the way. But I'm pretty well nocturnal. So, I just sit there and pick around on my guitar a lot of the times, and I'll hear something or what sounds like it could be something while I'm just randomly, strumming or picking or whatever. And then, I don't know, it's kind of like carving or it's like carving. You just carve away stuff and add stuff. Maybe it's more like sculpting. You just add stuff and carve away stuff until you have whatever it is that you see in your mind's eye, I guess. But I don't know how to compose. I mean, I don't know anything about music theory, or I can just hear stuff, and whenever I hear something I like, I keep it in, and if I hear something I don't like, I take it out. And, I end up with a song eventually, and then I write lyrics to it. Or sometimes I write lyrics first and then write music to it, but most of the time it's the other way around.
Well, let's talk about where you're from first, because that's kind of shaped a lot of what you do. You're from you're from the Texas Panhandle, but you live more or less, Oklahoma is your front yard. You're right there.
Right.
But you live pretty remote place. And when I met you, you were just day working, starting Colts, and then kind of you had whatever free time you had, you were in your house, your living room, and you had all these odd instruments, and you would just sit around and pick and learn on them. So what just talk a little bit about like where you grew up and stuff first.
Well, I was born in Kentucky, my parents met in Tennessee. Both my parents, all of my family's from Texas, but they were in Tennessee and met, had me. So I'm the only one in my family who's not a native-born Texan, so that kind of sucks. But anyway, I've grown up. We moved back to Texas immediately. I mean, I don't remember ever living in Tennessee, but we moved back to Texas, and I grew up farming and ranching there in Hansford County. And you know, we ran a lot of yearlings, had some cow-calf stuff, and farmed a lot, but you know, I never really cared much for farming. Seemed like you just mechanic in the heat more than farm. So I like horses. I always gravitated towards horses and cattle, and we played music growing up a good little bit. There wasn't much of a, you know, we weren't sitting around writing songs or anything like that, but we'd play like church hymns and Red River Valley and stuff like that every once in a while. And my parents started me playing the mandolin when I was 5, and I didn't like it because it was just a chore, like, you know, taking out the trash or whatever. You go sit down and, you know, play Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I'm like, okay. So I just kind of, I never got into the mandolin. I can play a couple songs on it, but I'm not, you know, never stuck with it. And then about when I was 12, I picked up a guitar and decided I actually wanted to learn it. And my dad taught me a few chords, a couple of songs, and then from there I just kind of self-taught and YouTube and all that. Mm-hmm. And just kept playing, and I was always the guy that played the guitar. Like, that was kind of my thing. Like, I had friends that were, you know, real handy roping or, you know, riding broncs. Some of my friends were real good mechanics. Some of them, you know, they all had their skill set that was their, you know, that was their thing that they excelled at. And mine was always music. Like, I wasn't that good by any means, but I was always pretty well the best one in the room, you know. And when people tell you you're good at something, you just keep doing it, you know. Mm-hmm. Or at least that's how I feel. You know, every time someone's told me I was, you know, good at that, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go do some more of that. All right. But so, you know, I just kept playing guitar and played, you know, did all the sports, and, you know, growing up in Texas, played football and, you know, did track and all that. And then I started rodeoing, started bulldogging, and I guess when I was about 16 or 17. And I had never planned to go to college, but I had, between all my little scholarships I could scrounge up, I had enough money to pay for a semester. So it was either go rodeo at college or go to work. And I was like, well, here's a free, you know, 5 or 6 months or something that I can live and have food and rodeo and whatever. So I did that. And anyway, I went to school there at Clarendon for a semester and rodeoed, and then tore up my shoulder and had surgery on it. And then I went down to Stephenville for this next semester. I was just going to school, and I made it about 2 weeks into that. I was like, yeah, I'm not doing this. Like, just going to my dorm and going to class, then back to, I was like, this is not for me. So I finished that semester, but I got a job down there and worked for a guy. I baled a lot of hay and raised some replacement heifers. And anyway, eventually I worked down there for about 8 or 9 months, and then came back up to the Panhandle and went back to work on my family's outfit and started running some of my own yearlings. And I just kept saying yes to gig offers, and then eventually it started to consume a good bit of my time playing gigs, and now I've kind of leaned into it quite a bit. So
you've got a pretty interesting guitar that you probably, it's not a one of one, but you're not going to really see another one of those around. It's pretty rare. Talk about that guitar a little bit.
It's a D198 Alvarez. And there could be some music nerd out there who knows better than I do, but it's as far as I know, it's Jerry Garcia kind of worked with them and designed it, and it's got like a polygraphite neck, so it stays in tune, playing outside, and temperature changes and humidity changes and stuff a lot better than just regular. It doesn't even have a truss rod in it, which that neck stays pretty rigid. I don't know how many of them they made, but I don't think it was that many. My dad told me when he gave it to me, he'd bought it there in Tennessee before I was born, and thinking bought it in like 92, and it had got shipped to his local guitar shop, and it wasn't supposed to be shipped there, so the owner's like, hey, you need to come buy this guitar before they come looking for it. So he bought it, and it's the guitar I learned on since I was 12 years old, and I've never switched. I've never had it worked on, and I mean, I had a pickup installed in it, but other than that, I've never picked up a guitar I liked more than it. It's a good guitar.
Well, a lot of guys are kind of collectors, or like they're always playing different guitars and trying new stuff out, but you're one of the guys that, like, you got one guitar,
right,
and that's the one you've had from the beginning, and that's your go-to, which is kind of unique.
Well, and I don't have any money, so it's like I've had other guitars, but I just always end up selling them. I do have one other like a classical, because if you want a flamenco or classical sound, especially recording, you gotta. Well, we did that one that video where I was horseback with that classical, and it's a lot less sentimental to me, that classical. Like, that's why we did it. It doesn't sound as good as that one, but if that horse boogered, and I had to land on it,
that's the
it
one.
Wouldn't have broke my heart.
Yeah, that video, for a lot of people have seen that video, but it took a few tries to get it right, but we did a video where Brennan is sitting on, I don't know how, that horse wasn't that old.
He was 4, I think.
Yeah, and Brennan dropped the reins and just had that sucker spin while he was playing I don't know what you were playing, a flamenco or something on that.
It was just a little kind of, I don't know, it would be playing like some Rascados, and it's just kind of some flamenco guitar. But, well, see, like, so every time Jake comes to the house, we're like, what are we going to do? We're trying to think of something, I don't know, something unique, something cool we can do for a video. And Jake's like, well, I hadn't ever videoed anyone on a, play one on a horse. And so that horse's name's Winston. Winston was really good gray. I really liked him. But I hadn't ridden him, and, it had to been at least a month, and he had probably 150, 160 days on him, somewhere in there. I know I usually ride them colts for 120 days, and then, they may hang around a little bit longer. But anyway, but if I'd have known we were going to do that, I'd have went out and been tuning on him, for a few days before he got there. But he did all right. We didn't know if he was going to stand, for the actual, playing the song. We're like, we didn't know if he'd stand. I was like, well, we can hobble him if nothing else. But hell, he stood there for three takes, never took a step. So I was pretty proud of him. But
well, speaking of unique stuff because always the videos we do are probably some of the most unique ones that I do. And the first one that we ever did, well, I should back up. The first time I ever met you was at the WRCA finals, right, which was the first time I had ever gone down to Texas. Yeah. I'd been to Texas a little bit before, but not in a music way. And so I just started Dusty Vaquero, and I went down there to just see if I could meet some people. Brennan was playing at the WRCA finals. My car broke down, and I was stranded. I ended up sleeping on Brennan's couch like the day I met him in the hotel room. And Brennan was playing. I've lived in Australia, and I never saw anybody play a didgeridoo when I was down there. Yeah. But at the WRCA finals, I heard this sound coming down the hallway, and I thought, what the heck is that? And so anyways, we got to talking. We went and shot that video. But at that point, when we shot that first video, which we did a video in your half-top trailer that you go day work out of, what, at that point, like, how many gigs had you played? Like, where were you musically at that point? You were pretty fresh still.
Yeah, pretty fresh. I mean, I was still pretty nonchalant about the music at that point. I was making enough money day working. What would that have been? Probably 22, 23, somewhere around there.
I think so.
I was making a living day working and riding colts, and fuel prices were decent, and it just seemed like things were moving a lot better back then. There's a lot more work, and it was, there was grass and rain and a little bit better economy, and but I was doing good just day working, and I'd go out on the weekends and play a show. Like, I'd try to keep my weekends pretty, booked up if I could, like a show a week, or it was just sporadic. Down there, I mean, but where I live, there's just a big gap between the Red River and Denver. There's just a giant wasteland of next to no music. It's just all these old hardened descendants of old hardened settlers, and no one wants to have any fun. No one wants to go out. No one wants to drink. No one wants to party. They just want to go to work and go home, and go to work and go home. And it's not like being in Austin, or, I mean, take your pick. Everywhere has somewhere to go play music and socialize, and the panhandles, Oklahoma and Texas, and then Kansas, eastern Colorado. It's just kind of like, you know.
Yeah, venues
like
are pretty.
we are alive. Yeah, that's what everyone's saying. It's like, yeah, y'all want to go like socialize and have some camaraderie? No, we're not gonna do that. Yeah. But I forgot where I was going with that. Oh, but so, being a musician there, like there's no other musicians, there might be someone who strums around on a guitar or, kind of, I mean, I shouldn't say there's none, but it's very few and far between finding venues and other musicians. There's just no music culture. And, you go down Central Texas, there's a bar around every corner with someone playing in it. And there's people going out to see new artists, to hear new music, and to support it. And, up there, not so much, but so I wasn't playing that many gigs. I played the WRCA pretty much every year, and I play. There's a couple little bars around there I'd play. There was maybe if someone was throwing like a barn party or something, I could pick up a gig at something like that. But for the most part, I was just mostly day working, and I didn't, like I said, I didn't have much frame of reference because until I started seeing the rest of the world and traveling and, getting to see what like a music culture looks like in other places in the world. Like, I thought what I was doing was never going to be much more than a hobby. And then I get out and there's like, there's a whole underground culture of musicians, and we all know each other, and we all stop and stay at each other's house, and we and not just musicians, but people like yourself, authors and adventurists, and painters and any kind of Western artist. But yeah, there wasn't much going on, and we did that video, and it certainly, more than 10 people saw it. I guess it was It was good.
Yeah, and from that video, when we were fixing to go out and shoot that, there's a bobcat that you had trapped hanging on your wall.
Yeah, and
it's tubed out, and I don't even remember how the conversation went, but
we were just jacking around. I was like, "Hey, look at this," and I just pulled it over that didgeridoo. Yeah, I was like, "This would look cool."
Yep.
And you're like, "You got to leave it on there for the video." I was like, "All right,
yeah,
sure."
And it's stayed there ever since.
Well, I took it off, and I had so many people ask me, like, "Hey, where's the cat?"
Yeah,
because they had all seen that video, and it's not like that. The video didn't blow up. I mean, whatever,
right.
Get like 10,000, 9,000 views or something.
Yeah.
Like not that much, but it was enough to where, like, people would ask me, where's the cat? I was like, oh, well, I'll just put it back on. So now it lives on there.
Yeah. But. So now you're pretty much, well, certain times of the year, music's your full-time gig, and you've been playing a lot of stuff up north here.
Yeah.
Wyoming, Montana, Idaho,
yeah.
up in this music scene. But where, like it or not, the didgeridoo has become like a big part of your show and image, and it's what you get asked about probably the most out of anything. And how did you come about the didgeridoo, and how did you piece that together? Where'd you get the idea, and then when did you start playing both together?
Well, so I was living on a station in Australia whenever I was 10, and we had like this, the local tribesmen came in. No, I do that sometimes because I get this question, and sometimes I'll just make up a spinny yarn.
Yeah.
You know, because the real story isn't that interesting. I just, you know, if you get a piece of PVC pipe, buzz your lips in it. If it's big enough, it sounds like a didgeridoo. And I didn't know that was a real instrument. And then at some point, I guess, you know, I figured out on a, you know, seeing it on a movie or, you know, YouTube or something. And so I got one. I think I got like my first real one when I was, I don't know, freshman or sophomore in high school. And I could make a sound on it, and it was a weird, novelty, I guess. Mm-hmm. And, you know, that was it. I mean, there was nothing. I didn't set out to, like, be the didgeridoo guy, you know. Mm-hmm. But anyway, what happened? When I went to record my first record, I had that song Cataclysm, and I was like, you know, I just want like a big epic sound kind of for this song, and I was like, I should put a didgeridoo on this. So I ended up getting one, and like a good handmade one, and kind of learning how to play it better. Like, I actually learned how to circular breathe and play. I practiced a lot before I recorded with it. And then, you know, I've seen a lot of, I listen to a lot of Aussie music, you know, lots of indie rock from there, and just, I don't know, I like to search for new sounds and new, I don't know, just new ideas. And I listen to a lot of Aussie guys that'll play the guitar and the didgeridoo at the same time. I was like, I wonder if I could do that. So I just kind of sat in my room. Like you said, you walk into my living room, there's just a lot of the times just a bunch of instruments everywhere. And I just go from one to the other, you know, watch a movie, pick up an instrument, play it, set it down, watch some more of the movie, pick up another instrument, play it, write something. So, you know, that's most of my nights. And anyway, so that's what I was doing, just sitting in my living room, learning to do that. And I definitely don't have any neighbors, or there's no one going to complain, so I can just kind of do whatever I want. But so I recorded Cataclysm with it, and one night I was playing the bar there in town, little bar and grill, and it was the last song of the set, and there was a whole bunch of drunk cowboys in the back, and a bunch of my friends, and they were all cutting up, and I was like, y'all want to see something weird? Yeah, so I brought it in, and everyone's like, what the hell is this thing, you know? And anyway, I played a Snake song, Townes Van Zandt, which I still play like every set, but it's in drop D, and that didgeridoo's in the key of D, and pretty simple song. I played it, and they were like, that's awesome, you know, that's cool. So they said, you got to bring that back every time. That's the thing, you know. So I did, and then I just kind of kept writing songs to play on it, and wrote C96 for it, and I mean, not for it, but in the key where I could, play it.
Before we skip over that, since a lot of people really like that song, but they maybe don't know the backstory behind it, what is a C96?
It's a little German. It was like one of one of the very first semi-automatic pistols ever made. I think they patented them in 1896, and it's just it's the Han Solo gun. It's a real, just weird, crazy looking. I have one, and they're ridiculously well made. Like you can take there's a little like pressure button on the bottom of the magazine, and you can just take a round and poke in there and take the entire gun apart down to like its base pieces, because it's all held together by machining and like spring pressure, and this is like a gun from 1896. I think that's fascinating. Like the only screw in the whole gun is the screw that holds the wood grips to the handle. and you can take like a penny or a knife or something. You have to take the firing pin out, you have to do a quarter turn. But you can do that you can smash a, cartridge or a, shell down or whatever. You can just in the field, you can take it apart and work on it. And anyway, I've only ever shot mine, but it shoots real smooth, and it's my favorite pistol. They're just so weird and cool looking. So I wanted to write somewhat of a, I guess, gunfighter song where the guy had a C96. So that's what I did.
The Dusty Vaquero Podcast is brought to you by Du Bois Western, supporting Western culture, art, and heritage throughout Wyoming. Join us at wyomingwestern.com.
You've got a very different taste in music than most people. Like, you're not sitting around listening to old cowboy songs and stuff
Jake
like that.
Hates it.
No, I don't hate
Jake
it.
Hates my taste in music.
But it's happened many times where we're driving back from somewhere
Will
and you put on
change this, please?
yeah, because you put on like Swedish jazz, rock, dubstep, weird stuff. But you draw inspiration from a lot of different places, and I think that's also partially where this fascination with different instruments come from. But where do you get a lot of your inspiration musically?
Lyrically, just like every songwriter in Texas, Townes Van Zant's one of my heroes. And, looking at him and, Guy Clark and Steve Earle and all those guys, you're like, or it kind of made me think, that's like, I think Dano said something similar, it's like, that's an archetype of guy that I feel like I could be, like I could just kind of wander around the country and play music for people, and that would be a good life. Even if, it is a good life. Like, you got enough to eat, got enough to put gas in the van, and a place to stay every night, whether that be a campsite or a Walmart parking lot or your house or, a hotel if we get fancy. But anyway, kind of went off on a tangent. But, listening to those guys' lyrics and listening to, like, I like Leonard Cohen stuff quite a bit. Townes and Leonard Cohen are my two favorite songwriters. And, I read, like, I hate reading, but I listen to a lot of audiobooks, and I even really don't like doing that. But I like interesting words. I like interesting turns of phrase. And when I hear something, I've got a, little Dylan notes in my phone, and it's just my stuff list, and it's random ravings and rambling, just stuff that I think is yeah, that's a cool phrase, or that's a cool rhyme, or that's a cool, I'll be listening to, I listen to a lot of history books. I like history, you know that.
Well, and the first time that we ever met, we were riding in your truck, and we got into some long conversation about Dostoevsky, I think, and Tolstoy, and we were like, "What? You read that stuff too?" Because it's just not that common, really, that people get into that type of literature. But you've got a pretty broad spectrum of what you. Yeah,
I'm really good at reading stuff and not understanding any of it, but I read it,
Right.
But yeah, as far as, I don't know, I've done a lot of stuff in my life that I had no passion for. And I mean, this pertains to, like, writing, inspiration, that question. But I've done a lot of stuff that, I was good at. I was fine. Played some sports that I was okay at. I rodeoed, I broke a lot of horses. Never, I wouldn't consider myself any great horse trainer, but I can take a horse and break it and turn it into a ranch horse and go do a job on it, ran some yearlings, made money at it. Not a lot, but we're in the green, I've done a lot of stuff, but there's nothing that I've been passionate about, like writing music, because it's like rodeoing, for example. I was okay at bulldogging, but the only thing you can do, there's no room for what's the word I'm looking for? Innovation, really. Like, you can be 1 second faster than the other guy, and that's like the measure of the glory heaped on you after the rodeo is, I was 1 second faster than the next guy, or half a second. And that's cool. Like, I liked it, but it's just, there's no part of me in that. Like, what I am songwriting, you just reach into nothingness and pull out a whole new thing that people feel and experience, and certainly changes their lives. I know music has changed my life in a big way, just listening to it. Anyhow, I like, the reason I'm a songwriter is, if I wasn't a songwriter, I'd probably be a painter or a sculptor or some other, there'd be some other medium, but I want to create new things. Mm-hmm. There's a big driving force in me that's like, you have to innovate, you have to create something new. And if I can't do that, like, what if I have a regular job? I can't have a regular job anymore. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe I'll have to eat those words one day. It's very possible, but I got to be able to do stuff a way that no one else has done it. And used to, you could be like a pioneer, and you could explore, and you could go see a new country and, start a new settlement and map. And, there used to be all this physical space to go explore, and now there's not. Everything's mapped out. Everyone's been everywhere. So now it's kind of like, up here's the only place that you can go somewhere that no one else has been. Mm-hmm. And to me, songwriting is a way to go somewhere that no one else has ever been, and then bring something back and be like, this is what I found, and then we sell it for money.
Yeah. Well,
which is the whole goal.
For sell it all for $1 million.
Monetary gain. No, but that's why, like I said, I like weird, strange music. I like the classic stuff that you would think that I would like, Johnny Cash and Marty Robbins and, all of. I just don't want to sound like someone else. I don't want to write something and everyone's like, that's so and so. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which happens.
Yes.
But I also don't want to have to pretend I like stuff that I don't, which is, to me, is gross. I like this. I like the stuff that I like. I like, indie rock and didgeridoos and, classical guitar and flamenco guitar. And it's so exhausting to pretend to like all the stuff that other people like just so they like you, That's, no. So that's reflected in my music. If I like it, that's the only criteria for me putting it in a song, whether that be an instrument or a verse, a line, some turn of phrase. If I like it, that's how it's going to be in my stuff, because it's a part of me.
We've talked about this pretty extensively, but you're obviously very picky about like what you write and what you put out and play and stuff like that. But it seems like a lot of people nowadays are trying to do co-writes or duets.
Yeah.
Well, you've done a duet.
Yeah.
But
I wrote it.
You wrote it, but for the most part, like we've talked about this a lot, that you kind of have a goal of a body of work that you want to put out.
Yeah.
That is just you. And you've
right.
You know how many albums you want to put out, and you know how many, how you want to do it. Can you talk about that a little bit? Yeah.
Well, that song that me and Raina have on my last record, Maddie's Waltz. So my cousin Towns is, my producer, and we've got a studio we go to, but also he's got like a home studio, and I will co-write with him, but I'll co-compose with him because he's got a phenomenal brain for that, and he's from such a different world than I am, like that I don't know if you would call that juxtaposition or that counter. Back and forth is great. This is a leather chair, by the way. It's not me farting. It's just, but we'll co-compose. We co-composed Maddie's Waltz and Beauty of the Broken. But as far as lyrics, I'm writing the lyrics of whatever I do. Now, one day, maybe I'll co-write with someone if there's like another songwriter that I respect. But to me, the bricks and sticks of a song are the lyrics. Which, I mean, that is the case. The lyrics are what you own the rights to, and people will do a cover of a song and change a note or a chord, the whole chord progression for that matter. But the song lyrics I want to be mine, just because, I don't know, everyone is so, not everyone, a lot of these kids, they're like, let's co-write, let's do this, let's do that. It's like, no, why don't you show the world what you can do? That's the point. You can't make art by committee. It sucks. And if you get the right committee, one, you know what I mean? Eventually, when you really get to know another artist, maybe it's time, in my opinion, it's just my opinion, maybe it's time to do co-write. But, like, do something yourself. Don't just like, oh, that guy's doing good, let me see if I can co-write with him and coast off of what he's got going on. And oh, they're doing good, let me see if I can, it's like, I can contribute half a verse to this song and get 6 other people to write it, and then just, ooh, look at me, I've done something. No, you haven't. It's write a song. Mm-hmm. It is, I would say it's not that hard, but it is hard. Write a good song. That's the job. We're here to make new things. And I don't know. For me, for the foreseeable future, I will be writing my own stuff and not, I don't know, I hate saying things because then then tomorrow I'm going to like make friends with the coolest, best songwriter ever. And they're like, do you want to do a song? And I'm going to be like, well, I was on a podcast and I said, I'm not going to do that. So
Right.
I'm still of that opinion right now. It may change. I'm pretty wishy-washy.
Yeah.
But you got to be able to pivot,
Right.
But yeah, I think art by committee is stupid and gross. Mm-hmm. And I like my words to be my words, at least for now. Mm-hmm. One day it'll change probably, but anyway.
Well, all right. Well, I want to pivot a little bit away from music, and go back to like where kind of your roots and how old were you when you started your first cult?
Oh, started pretty old. We well, I mean,
pretty old.
It depends what you like. They'd put me and my cousins, we'd get on some. I really hated cowboying my whole life because it didn't matter. We weren't riding kid horses growing up. Mm-hmm. It was like, 30 days, 60 days. I don't know what they were putting on them back then, but I remember I got bucked off every single day. It's like, oh, piece of tin out in the pasture, boogered, bucked off. Oh, horsefly bites and bucked off. It just, I don't know how we survived, but just every day I remember getting thrown into the dirt. And eventually, I'm just starting the colts for my granddad's ranch. Like, they raise their own horses at the, his guys use. And, I've been doing that for 20, 21, yeah, like 5 years, I guess I've been doing that. And before that, I had started a couple for my dad. But no, I mean, I was really, like, whenever I was a farmer growing up. I was not handy at all. And I'm okay. There's a lot of guys way handier than I am. And I'm good enough to day work for a living for like 5 years and sustain myself. So whatever that. But yeah, like, I didn't know anything about, what kind of bits you use to do what, or, I didn't know anything about horsemanship growing up. Like, we rode horses, but it was just, we'd go rope out, we'd go roping Dr. Yearlin's wheat pasture. But, them horses, they'd be stargazing and, pushing on you, and just, there's nothing. but I didn't know any better. And then I went to college, and I got like around a lot of really handy guys. I was like, oh, there's like a lot more to this than just, you know, pulling the stop. And anyway, so I got curious whenever I was probably 19 and just started asking questions. As if I saw someone with a good horse, I'd ask how to do that. And I got you know, a lot better than I was, and got good enough to where I could start some colts. And, you know, if I had them 90, 120 days, I could make them into something that was good enough.
Mm-hmm.
But
was there a single person or a couple people when you look back just on your horsemanship that had the biggest impact on you, or is it more or less self-taught?
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of guys that I day work with, but it wasn't like, I wouldn't say it was very heavy one person. I just would watch people's horses all the time and be like, how do you get them to do that? And you'll get a different answer from everyone. Mm-hmm. It's so, everyone is so different mm-hmm. in the way that they do things. And, you know, if it works for you, it works for you.
Sure.
And I don't know. There's been guys who've probably answered a few more questions than others, but I never had like a mentor. Mm-hmm. You know, same with playing the guitar. Like, my dad taught me probably 5 or 6 chords, and then from there it was just a lot of hours of sitting in my basement bedroom there at the house and mm-hmm. and picking. But, you know, I feel kind of weird talking about like horse training, because like I said, I have no passion for it. I do it and I can get one, you know, fine, but it's not like these guys who just really eat it up, you know. Like, oh, look at this horse, look at that horse. Did you see so and so? Like, nah, I like it, all right, but I just know I don't have any longevity in it because I'm not passionate about it, mm-hmm. and I don't believe that if you're not passionate about something, you're not going to do it for your whole life.
Right.
And you're probably not going to be that good at it.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm self-aware enough to know that I don't have any passion for it. Mm-hmm. And it is a job that I do. I like, whenever I'm on a horse, I like to have started that horse. Mm-hmm. You know, I like everything in it to be me and not, you know, if you mm-hmm. get a compliment on it, it's like, yeah, sweet. Thanks, man. Right. But, yeah, it's not what was put on earth to do.
What's the worst wreck that you've had horseback?
I got drug once. Well, I don't know. I've never broke a bone. I chipped a tooth in football, and you know, I dislocated my shoulder a bunch of times bulldogging, and there was, I guess, like some little bone chips in there, but I've never like snapped a bone mm-hmm. thus far. Could be tomorrow, but I'm trying to think what was like the worst one. I mean, I've been pretty blessed as far mm-hmm. as horse wrecks. Like, the one time I got drugged, and it wasn't even for that long, but it was scary. I had a new dog, and she kept kind of running off. She's real timid. And so I just put my rope around her neck and was just leading her, you know. And she ran up around my horse and got the tail up under his tail, and he went to pitching. He kind of jumped left or jumped right, and I went left, and I remember kind of pitching my coils because I knew I was out of my seat. I threw my coils, and they landed on the saddle horn, and he took off running. And when I hit the ground, I heard that rope go zzz, and then it was half hitched around my thigh, and it just about jerked that leg out of socket. It felt like it's just bam, and he hit the end of that rope, and there we went across the pasture. My dog was dragging behind me, and I was in between her and the horse, and I was like, oh, this is how I die, and hearing all the stories about we went and picked up pieces of so-and-so, in the pasture. I was like, here we went, just bouncing out across that field. And anyway, thank the Lord, it just popped off, But I was like, oh yeah, this is it.
Right.
Because there was no one around. I was a couple miles from the house, but that was the scariest one I've had. But I've had, been in quite a few binds. I roped a best ride I ever made. I roped this big, I don't know, it's probably 5-6 weight Charolais heifer, and she fell right. I mean, my loop went around her neck right when she fell, and my horse ran over top of her, and he was probably like a 90-day little sorrel. Who's that? Roy is his name. He ran over it, and that rope got up underneath between his back legs and over my thigh, and he just went to honking, and he couldn't go anywhere. He was attached to that yearling, and that rope was across my thigh, and I was just up there like a rag doll bouncing around. I wish I had a video of that, but I remember thinking, man, I've stayed on a lot longer than I usually do at this point, because I was just strapped to the saddle, tied off. And anyway, and then he just stopped, and I backed him up, and I had just a big black and blue brute. I mean, it just about cut my leg off, dragging that big yearling. And anyway, got untied and doctored her. But no, there's just, I'm trying to think what the worst wreck. I don't know. That's two pretty good ones. There's a lot of wrecks. But
Well, I've talked to other people about this on the podcast before, but you're a guy that ties off, which up north, a lot of people have never seen it, never done it. And then you flip the script and you go down to Texas, and there's a lot of guys that have never dallied or not done it very often. But what are your thoughts on that? Because up here, to people, that just seems terrifying.
Yeah. Well, it's dangerous, but so is being on a horse. Like there's all kinds of dangerous stuff you can do. It's like, what is your level of tolerance for danger? Dallying, I like tying on or tying off, however you want to say it, because I need my fingers to play guitar, and the way you lose fingers is in a dally.
Sure,
everyone knows that.
Right.
So that's just, for me, that's I want to be able to play guitar till I die. So I like, other than in the Brandon pen, I tie off. And I mean, on a new colt, just starting outside. I grew up dallying, but I've missed enough dallies when I was by myself out in the pasture doctrine and only had one rope, that it's like,
now what?
Yeah. So
yeah. Well, and kind of, I guess, to your point, that story you just told, you pitched your coils and you still got drugged.
Right, yeah, I wasn't tied off then, but yeah, the only time I've been drugged is when I
wasn't tied on.
I roped a dog and wasn't tied off. But anyway, the biggest thing, the thing I like about it the most is, pitch your loop around something and you've got an extra second, but it feels like 20 to think and to get your horse, stopped. And I don't know, you've got your slack, pitch your slack, and you can, especially on a colt, you can kind of plow rein them back down, get a hold of them, keep them turned towards the calf, whatever. It's just instead of having a rope and then just kind of think about doing this, it's just a little bit more room to breathe, I guess. I don't know. I like it. And you're not gonna, once you get that loop around their neck, you got them. And there's and especially where I'm at, like, there's no trees. So it's like you're not going to go get wrapped around a tree unless you're in like a creek bottom or something. It's just, I don't know. I just like it. It's all right. It's simple.
Sure.
It's like you are attached to me now. You're mine. I'm the captain. And and also like tripping, obviously, you go out and neck something, and then dally, and then slow them down, and then undally, pitch your slack, ride by it, and then try to dally again when all 600 pounds of that yearling's hitting that your wraps, and you hope they hold, which before I started tying on I'd done, but yeah, as far as tripping down yearlings, you want to be tied off. It's like, I mean, we doctor a lot by ourselves, I guess a lot of guys go out in pairs and team rope them, but most of everything I've doctored has been by myself. And it's nice, you get your cattle, get some gentle cattle, you can just kind of flip your little heel shot in there sometimes, and just get your bonus shots, like if you're riding through a lot of yearlings every day, just save your horse. I'll go get those cheap shots all day long, just snag a leg, but after a couple times of missing those, that yearling knows what's up now. So now we got to go line him out, and he's getting tripped. So
well, we're at about an hour. Is there anything else that you would like to get? You haven't started. You kind of got the songs for your next album, but you haven't even started recording them. You just got ideas at the moment, right?
We got some scratch tracks for about half of them. I still need to finish writing several of them, but
do you have any idea, like, do you have a goal when you'd like to put out your next album, or is it still kind of up in the air?
No, I mean, I'd like to have it out immediately. I'd like to have it out now, but whenever it's done, it'll be done. I don't, like, once we get everything recorded and get the first mix, we'll have a better idea. But right now, like, I record in Tennessee and I don't get out there super often, and it's just whenever we can do it, we do it. I don't know. Like I said, I still hadn't even finished writing several of the songs. I got been in a weird funk lately. I got probably 10 songs that are half written, or just music, or I got, a couple verses of lyrics, no music. Like, I haven't haven't been able to finish the songs.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm finishing them. I've got half the next record I've been playing out already. Like there's several songs that, you know, that Ironclad song is going to be on there, the Hard Blanket and Three Birds song. I don't know, there's a couple folk songs going to be on there I'm planning on. But I got some different stuff that is going to be, I don't know. Whenever I write, I'm not very forceful in it. I don't. There's guys that will write a song every day. I'm like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not a good song.
Right.
What, like, how many of those you trash? Oh yeah, well, I don't play a lot of them. Yeah. It's just, as a song comes to you, you write it down.
Mm-hmm.
And you might have to push the throttle on it just a little bit, but really buckle down and figure out a verse or a line. But like, quantity in songwriting, quantity over quality, why? That's so stupid. I mean, to me.
Well, it's art, right? So everybody does it. Everybody does it different, because some guys,
everything's permitted.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of guys that I've talked to, like they do. Maybe they don't write every day. Some guys do, but there are a lot of trashed songs. But some people, the way their brain works, they practice. You know, they're essentially practice songs. So, but that's not everybody. I mean, it's art, it's subjective, and everybody does it differently.
I guess so. Yeah, sure.
All right.
My way is the only way to do art, Jake. Everyone else is no. But I write very slowly and as ideas come to me. And if my rule is, if I get bored, I just stop doing something. Because boredom is my nemesis. I hate boredom.
Yeah.
I don't like, and that's pretty much with everything. If I get bored with something, pretty much everything, not everything, but most things in my life, if I'm like, oh yeah, this isn't how I want to be spending my life, I'm not going to do it. Sure, you got to muscle through a few things and like work some jobs you don't want, and, you know, do maintenance on your life in whatever various ways. But as a big picture thing, if you're doing something that you hate, you don't have to do that. And I mean, you know that.
Yeah.
I'm preaching to the choir with you, but
yeah, if you're forcing something, it's not going to be your best work. That's for sure.
Yeah. And so music to me is my escape from the mundane, I guess. And it's what I do. I'm betting, and I may be ignorant in my thinking, but I think there's a way that I can enjoy my life and enjoy what I do, and survive and stay alive and have like a life, which is, to a lot of people, that's heresy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, oh no, you need to, if your life doesn't suck, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, no, I think maybe wrong. Maybe I do have to have like a job that I hate and work from sun up to sundown, and, you know, maybe it has to be miserable to survive. I don't think it does. I'm going to bet the other way, where I get to do fun things that I enjoy doing, that other people enjoy consuming, and I can survive. That's what I'm betting on. Yeah.
I mean, that's how I've lived my life as well. Exact same thing.
What are we? I mean, we're a quarter of a way through it, and it's working. Which I've been doing the other way for a lot of my life, so we'll see. It's an experiment. I'll do it. I got no wife, kids. Doesn't nothing, like, I have a van. I have a guitar, and I have a van.
And a saddle.
Yeah, I have a couple saddles, actually. Our cup runneth over.
All right, yeah. I got a couple questions that I ask everybody to close this out. Think of a book, movie, TV show. What character do you think best resembles you?
Dang. I don't know. Let's come back to that one.
Okay. I'll ask you the other one.
Let me think about that one.
All right. It's your last day. You're sitting in a cold, dark cell, and they're gonna hang you come sundown. A guard comes by, and you get one last meal and one last song. What's the song and what's the meal?
How many people say they're hanging me tonight?
There's been a couple of those. Yeah.
Too cliche. I'm not gonna do it.
Some people's answers are meaningful songs to them, and then some people try and pick ironic songs.
Right. Last meal, I would say I want prime rib with horseradish and I want black coffee and a white Monster and garlic mashed potatoes and a little thing of potato soup with bacon in it and cheese, and then let's go buttermilk pie for dessert.
And who's preparing this stuff for you?
Some laborer.
Anybody?
I don't know.
Okay. All right.
A restaurant person who's really good at it.
All right.
My mom should make the potato soup, but I feel like if I'm about to be hung, she's not exactly going to be in the mood to be in the kitchen cooking.
Yeah.
But yeah, my mom used to make potato soup growing up all the time. Come in, 5 degrees outside, and I remember being so dang cold. Just riding wheat pasture as a little kid, like my feet, like couldn't, just aching, and then you couldn't feel them, and then, just be freezing and come in and there's like big old deal of potato soup. Mm-hmm. Yeah. As far as the song, the last song I ever sing on earth.
Sing, or someone can sing it to you.
I mean, I probably have to go. I don't know if I'd want it to be happy or sad. It depends. It depends on my life. If I'm looking back and I'm like, well, that was a waste of time, I'd want to, they're all Townes Van Zandt songs for sure, but I'd sing Nothing. If I'm kind of indifferent, I'd sing Lungs. If I'm look back and I think, yeah, we did it, I'd sing Poncho and Lefty.
There you go.
Yeah. But yeah, depends on my opinion.
Depends on the mood.
It depends. Yeah. Yeah, it depends how good the vibe is before I get my neck snapped.
All right. Well, have you thought about the
character? I don't know. I don't know that there's like a character that I've tried to emulate. I'd say there's a high probability that by the time I'm in my 60s or 70s, I'm pretty close to Bear Claw and Jeremiah Johnson.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
That's probably where my trajectory is. I'm gonna be yelling at some stranger that's molesting my hunt.
That's good.
Yeah, he's cool. That's it. Just living by yourself in the woods, hunting grizz. Yeah.
Sweet.
Good.
All right.
Also, well, I kind of, as far as like Alfie Solomon's on Peaky Blinders.
Oh yeah.
Also, if you could hybrid those two. You know, he's going far enough, Pilgrim. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
I like his character.
That's a good one. All right. Well, you're about to go on tour with Kenny Fiddler for a little bit.
Uh-huh.
You play with Kenny somewhat regularly, opening shows, but do you have any like great big shows that you're excited about, or where can people find out where you're playing in the future?
Usually I just post like kind of my schedule. If I get a lot of shows booked, through a season or whatever, I'll post them on a list on Instagram. But I think the list, these shows this week are the last. Well, maybe I've got a few more on there. I need to make another one. And but I always put flyers and stuff up on my Instagram stories and stuff like that.
Well, where do people find you on socials? What are your handles or website or whatever you got?
Brennan Scott Greene on Instagram and I think Facebook is just Brennan Greene. TikTok's Brennan Scott Greene. It's just my name.
And it's Green with an E on the end.
Green with an E. Brennan like the stepbrother.
Mm-hmm.
But you have to call me Nighthawk.
Perfect. Well, unless you got anything else to add, I think.
Yeah. Was that you or me?
That was my stomach growling.
Yeah, I need to go get something to eat. No, I mean, I guess that's it. We could talk about Israel.
Thanks for listening in. Don't forget to head over to dustyvaquerodays.com. You can find festival tickets there. In our store, we have all kinds of different merch. Big thank you to Brennan Scott Greene for making the original music for this podcast. Please give us a review. We'd love to hear your feedback and tell your friends. We'll see you next week.